Hey everyone. So these keywords changed the way that I type and interact with my computer every day from the last 3 or 4 years. This is the first one that I made, and this is the second that I bought. And I'm gonna tell you everything there is to know about split keyboards in less than 5 minutes. What is a split keyboard? A split keyboard is basically keyboard that it's split in two halves, and you have half of the keys in one part and the other half in another. The difference is mainly that your arms rest in a more neutral position, and it can be good for ergonomics and mainly being more comfortable in how you type. Why I switched at first because whenever I was typing, I was seeing the keys that I was gonna type, and since I'm a programmer, I was leaving a lot on the table, so I decided to switch to this kind of keyboards and memorize all of the keys and do it all in one go. First, when I entered into this world like 4 years ago, they were not popular like they are today. So I had, like I said, to build it from scratch and solder every little component to get it to work, and assembled it myself, buy everything separately. And also, this is a wired keyboard. That was one downside of it. Another thing that's very important is the firmware, which in this case, for this keyboard that is wireless, I am using CMK, and that is how you can program your keyboard and enable more customization on whatever you want the keys to actually do. You can program them however you want. This is the website of CMK, and the documentation is very extensive. The main gist of it is that they are different layers, and based on whatever you press, you can activate a different layer, and that layer enables a different set of keys that you can press. And that's the whole deal. That's why you can have less keys in a keyboard as opposed to a normal keyboard that doesn't have layers. For example, this layer, in the base layer, in this key, it acts as escape if there's nothing else being pressed. But if you press the modifier left GUI, it's here. If you press the left GUI, which is the command on Mac, it enables a tilde. So that's one set of features that you can do. Of course, you can do a lot more. This is just an example. And my daily use, when I'm like programming and I get a bit tired, I just take my laptop and my split keyboard to the bed, and I can be as proficient as in the desk, which is a great bonus for me. And also, it feels very comfortable to type. It feels very natural. The people that say that you're gonna be a lot more fast, it's a myth. Maybe you can be a bit faster, but I haven't noticed that myself. But what I've noticed is definitely much more comfortable. And what are some of the gotchas about this? So the learning curve, it's not steep if you don't overthink stuff. If you try to perfect everything, it will take much more time. But if you just go with default settings and build your way up progressively, you can get there much faster. I recommend that you don't switch, like if you're using QWERTY, don't switch to another layout. This, for example, I switched to Colmac, which is this layout that changes some keys. It's supposed to be better because the keys that you type most appear in a better place with this layout. But the cons of it is that, for example, in Beam or in other applications, it's a bit of awkward. So I wouldn't change if I were you. And what else? You can buy the keyboards in many places. This is just one example, bkeef.com, and I recommend you buy it already pre-soldered, even if it's a little bit more expensive, because if not, you're gonna have to do everything from scratch and buy everything yourself, and it's a bit of work. You also will have to buy a solder and all of the components to do that. And my final thoughts, who is this for? If you spend a lot of time in the computer typing or programming, this is a great thing for you. Honestly, it's very useful, and you're gonna see the results in a very little time. And what else is there? For example, one thing that I don't like about this new keyboard, which is a low profile, it's very thin, is that the switches, as you can see here, they are much thinner than the MX switches. This is side-to-side comparison. The thinner ones, they don't sound as well as the MX. I've noticed that, so take that in mind and just go with the popular ones and you're gonna be fine. Linear are my favorite type of switches. I found that the other ones are more annoying, especially the clicky ones. As time passes by and you use it a lot, you're gonna be annoyed by all of the clicks, but it's up to you. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comment section and I'll answer them. Also, subscribe to the channel. That way I can keep doing videos, and that's it. Peace.